In order to grow your real estate practice, is it better to expand your geographic area or constrict it? We're going to talk about that today. Stay tuned. This episode of Keeping It Real is brought to you by Real Geeks. How many homes are you going to sell this year? Do you have the right tools? Is your website turning soft leads into interested buyers? Are you spending money on leads that aren't converting? Well, Real Geeks is your solution. Find out why agents across the country choose Real Geeks as their technology partner. Real Geeks was created by an agent for agents. They pride themselves on delivering a sales and marketing solution so that you can easily generate more business. Their agent websites are fast and built for lead conversion with a smooth search experience for your visitors. Real Geeks also includes an easy-to-use agent CRM. So once a lead signs up on your website, you can track their interest and have great follow-up conversations. Real Geeks is loaded with a ton of marketing tools to nurture your leads and increase brand awareness. Visit realgeeks.com/keepingitrealpod and find out why realtors come to Real Geeks to generate more business. Again, visit realgeeks.com/keepingitrealpod. And now, onto our show. Today's episode is brought to you by Corded.io. Are you looking for agents to join your brokerage or team? Now, as a real estate recruiter, I can tell you the answer is always yes. But most agents aren't looking to move right now. So how do you know who to contact? Well, what if I were to tell you there's a recruiting and retention tool powered by artificial intelligence that shows you exactly which agents in your local market are looking to leave their brokerage right now and which agents at your own firm are also looking to leave you? Now, I've been recruiting realtors for 15 years and I've hired over 2,000 agents. I can tell you with no exaggeration, this is the tool I've been waiting for. Corded's AI looks for trends across dozens of variables for each agent in your market and shows you which agents they believe are likely to move. Not only does it do that, but Corded's AI went and visited my recruiting website and read everything I offer. So now when I'm recruiting, Corded's AI tells me exactly what to say based on that agent's needs and what my brokerage can offer. It even writes emails for me. I've never seen anything like it, and I use it every single day. Now, if you are looking to grow your brokerage, Corded.io is the best tool out there. Visit Corded.io to schedule a demo. Again, that's Corded.io. And now, onto the show. Hey, welcome to Keeping It Real, the largest podcast made by real estate agents and for real estate agents. My name is DJ Paris. I am your guide and host through the show. Today is our monthly series. I think this is our fifth or sixth straight year of doing this. This is called the Monday Market Minute with Carrie McCormick from the Carrie McCormick Real Estate Group here in Chicago with @Properties, Christie's International. Carrie is a top 1% producer here in Chicago with over 20 years of experience helping buyers, sellers, and investors. She is a true superstar and expert in everything from first-time home buyers, veteran investors, and especially luxury properties. She also works with a lot of developers and is often chosen to represent their high-end developments. I want everybody to follow Carrie on Instagram because she is an amazing model of what you can do with your own Instagram account. She does it all herself. It is truly remarkable. It's probably the best looking Instagram account I've ever seen for realtors. That's Carrie McCormick Real Estate and 2Cs in McCormick. We'll have a link to that in the show notes. Carrie, welcome once again.
Wow, love that introduction. So thank you for that. And I'm
you're too humble to say, but this is possibly you're on pace for this to be your very best year ever. And I've yet to hear anyone in 2025 say that. So congratulations.
Oh, well, I love that. Yeah, and actually, that's kind of a little bit about what I wanted to talk about. I have been a broker in Chicago for this kills me to say this, but 2 decades. Wow, right? So over 20 years. But through that 20 years, I've been working extremely hard, extremely focused on my business and just how I wanted to frame it. And you're right, this year, we're July, at the end of July, 2025, and I am at $250 million.
Wow.
Closed and pending. So I've got about 100 95 closed, and then another little over 50 pending to close. And I've got fill in my pipeline for the rest of the year. So I'm hoping to break 300. Um, which again, keep in mind, I do not have a big team. I am a solo agent. I have support staff underneath me, but it took, again, years to build and form what I wanted to create. And one of those things is staying local, right? So through the pandemic, especially here in Chicago, for those, real estate agents from Chicago or some of the Midwest states, everyone started moving to Florida, Arizona, Colorado, which is fabulous and great. And a lot of agents spread their wings and said, okay, I'm going to open up an office in Florida and Arizona and, wherever, in Colorado, et cetera. And I think as much as I wanted to do that, because I love those markets and to be able to service my clients, I decided that I am going to stay local. I say I'm going to stay in my lane. And because of that, I put the pedal to the metal. I over marketed during that time, and I ended up dominating the market here in Chicago because, again, everyone was out spreading their wings a little bit, trying to service and take advantage of other hot markets, which people did, and it was great. So nothing against that. But I wanted to stay hyper local and have that approach. But I did want to say, or have, some national and international network too, right? Because when you're building trust with high net worth clients, you want to deliver global reach. And I didn't want to leave my city. So I am with Christie's International. I have an incredible network of brokers nationally and internationally. So when one of my clients says to me, we're moving to Paris, we're moving to Colorado, wherever they're moving to, I say, that's amazing. I'm going to sell your property here. I'm not an expert in Colorado, using that as an example, but I have a trusted advisor and partner there that I'd love to introduce you to. So you just do that handoff, and obviously you take a referral fee. So again, I'm servicing my clients. I'm giving them the best service by giving them someone who's also an expert in that. So think about this. So again, there's this idea when you grow, you have to scale wide, but instead of thinking of going wide, think about going deep within your market,
Yeah.
right? And when you're dealing with your clients, and everyone knows this, they can sense your confidence. They can sense what you're talking about when you know the market. You just really can't fake that stuff, right? You have to be ingrained in your market. And people feel it. If I'm trying to make up something, which I don't do, but I can, if you're stumbling with something, your clients can feel that, and they know when you're in your zone and when you're out of your zone. So I think that's was super key to me growing my business. And again, 2025, being at the point where I am, because again, I advertised, I marketed the heck out of me being local here and the expert in the market.
I think too, for those of us that aren't quite at the level where we would think about expanding into another city, the same idea applies to expanding within your own city and really thinking small and thinking, okay, yes, maybe there's other parts of my suburbs or the city or the neighborhoods that I really service that, yeah, I'd love to expand and be everywhere, but
Right.
how much value could I really provide? Especially here in Chicago, we have so many different markets here.
Right.
You couldn't be an expert in even all of the ones here, and as a result, it always makes sense, in my opinion, to, like you said, go narrow but go deep within that narrow focus. Like,
Right.
I always think there was, I'm sure Michael Rosenblum, he's an agent here in Chicago, and he did
Yeah.
something I thought very smart many, many, many years ago. I don't know if he still does this, but he used to call himself Mr. River North because he
Oh, that's right.
basically, yeah, we're sort of laugh about it, but it was really smart because he did River North. And like when you
Right.
thought River North, you were like, oh, Michael Rosenblum, he's Mr. River North. And he did probably more deals there than anyone during a period of, and that's all he did. And it was like, he's and Gail Spreen does Streeterville.
Right.
There are people that, yeah, you do things a little bit outside of your market from time to time when you can, but really, really smart. And we think about this like with recruiting. We often think, ooh, what state should we go to next at Kale? And it's like, there's 43,000 agents here in Chicago. We only have 700 of them. Like, we don't have that many. And, at Properties, Christie's, you guys have probably 3,000 to 4,000. You guys don't even have that many. And you're like
Right.
this firm. So there are so much opportunity here locally, whether, and it's about, like you said, going really deep. And and again, also like, what's the best possible experience for the client? Well, if you care
Right.
about your reputation, it isn't to try to get licensed in Colorado and then do a deal in Aspen, unless you live there half the year, maybe, but other than that, you're best off handing it to somebody. And that's something that, we really should think about. We get a deal and maybe it's just a little bit in a neighborhood or an area that we don't know, and we want to do the deal because that's a lot of money. But if it's something that we truly can't really service to the degree that we
Right.
owe to the client, you're a fiduciary. Like, your job is to get them the highest price or the lowest price if you're buying. And if you feel like you can't do that, way better to get somebody that absolutely knows that market. And what's really cool too is ChatGPT will literally tell you, like, you could go in, it's not always accurate, but you could say who sells the most homes in this neighborhood, or who's, has the most buy side deals, or whatever it might be. And you'll get some, or just, call up your local board and ask them, and they can run those numbers for you. And you can find really good people. And I think that's really smart. And again, too, I wanted to ask Carrie you something, because you're doing so many deals. You do a lot of listings. And you do a lot of everything, but a lot of listings. And right now, I just hear people consistently saying, "Gosh, all my sellers are locked into a 3% mortgage. They don't need to move. They don't want to move. They don't want to give up that 3%. Well, I'm actually going to be moving shortly. I don't want to give up my 3%, but I'd rather give it up and not have a lot less competition on the buy side right now." And so I'm curious, like, what do you say to sellers who are like, "Yeah, I guess I could sell now, but I just don't want to give up that rate"?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously we've got to follow their lead, but sometimes you don't have to look just macro, or micro into like what that rate is. If you're really unhappy in your home or the space that you're in, but you're staying there because of the interest rate, I always think that that's a bad idea. So again, think about this. Our rates are what, in the sixes right now. Understood that 3% versus 6% is a punch to the gut for a lot of people, but because of that home pricing, you can negotiate better. So let's just use $1 million home as an example. In this environment with a 6% rate, you probably can get that home, we'll just say, like, for 900,000, right? If rates start coming down and you're now approaching 5 or 4, the demand in the market is going to be so great, because everyone's going to be after that $1 million home. Like, oh, great, the rates just went down 1%. Now they may overbid for that home, right? So now you, as a buyer, a consumer, you're going to be in multiple offer situation on that home. The price is probably going to get driven up on that home. So instead of taking it at 900,000 at a 6%, you may be in a position, or you might be buying it for 1.1 with a 5% interest rate. So you start looking at the numbers, and they, at the end of the day, sometimes they do even out, but at least you've got the home. You've got your home, and when the rates come down, you can refinance that home. But again, I always think of, like, this has always been a mystery to me, and I'm the type of consumer that if I want something and it's within my price range or within a reasonable price, I'll just buy it, or I'll get it, right? I've had buyers that, they want to argue over the last $25,000, in $1 million transaction. I'm like, this is your home. This is where your kids are being raised. This is where memories are being made. Is that $25,000 amortized over 30 really going to change?
Right. It's $100 a month, maybe, for.
Right. So, to me, it's a conversation with your clients of, what's important to them. And if they truly, feel like, I don't want to lose this rate and I'm going to live in a house that I'm not happy in and whatever, honestly, that's their choice. But again, as an advisor, we are here just to kind of broaden, their thinking of, don't look very short-sighted in this. This is a long-term, play, especially if, you're buying a property at a price that you have room to grow in that, meaning, if you buy it at 900 and, we're seeing an upward trend in that neighborhood, buy it now. And then if you were to move in 5 to 7 years, you're going to make a healthy gain on it. So again, that's where we, as real estate agents, really need to put on our hat as advisor and let them know.
Oh, yeah, I think there's so much opportunity. And by the way, like I live actually in one of Carrie's developments. I love, this is like my favorite place I've ever lived. It's unbelievable. For those of you in Chicago, it's called Alcove. If you want to check it out, is really just an unbelievably great little gem here in Wicker Park. I don't want to leave it because I love it. And I need a bigger place, and I need to go out. Unfortunately, I have to leave the city to go to the suburbs. But I'll get a bigger place. I'll be able to raise a child, all that stuff with my soon to be fiance. So we're having to make that plan, and so I have this double whammy of I don't want to give up this great rate and this great place,
Right.
but it's much smarter for me to do that now versus wait for rates to drop. 3 times as many buyers flood the market. Yeah, there'll be more listings too, but there'll be much more competition. People will get emotional because they've been waiting to make a buy decision, and prices will explode, I think. And so I don't want that to happen. And so as sad as I will be to say goodbye to this amazing place, it's done great for me. I got 5 good years out of it. I mean, that's a great thing. And I think having these conversations with sellers is like, let's just talk about what does happen if rates come down 1%. Like there's data you can show them. Lawrence Yun, National Association of Realtors chief economist, he actually has data on this, that this is what is predicted if rates come down, and it is not what you want as a buyer. Like it is just not. So I think there's a huge opportunity to start talking to people who do want to make a move within the next 2 to 3 years and say, maybe now's the time. And let's talk about what it'll look like in a couple of years when rates may possibly do come down.
I agree.
Yeah. And also too, I love the fact that you're having such a great year, the best year ever, because we are hearing so much challenge in this market. There's just so many people complaining, and I understand that, there's a lot of challenge for sure. Our agents are experiencing it as well, and agents all over, but it's also great to hear like somebody who expanded within her own market, and you are now maybe the most well-known agent possibly in all of Chicago, or certainly right at the very short list at the top of the mountain. People know you. And it's not because you also went to, Florida and Arizona and California or Colorado and other places that you could have easily gotten a reciprocal license for, and just Wisconsin even. You could have gone up there, Indiana, right? You could do those things. They're very close by, and you still chose to stay here. And I think that's a great sort of message for everyone listening is go deep, like get involved with your community.
Yeah.
Be with the Chamber of Commerce, go to all the events, let everybody know who you are and that you serve their community and that you're here to serve them. And then, wait 20 years like Carrie did, and you will still have the best. I mean, you've had amazing years every year basically, but you still do the same things you were doing when you first started, which I always find so fascinating. It's like, that's the top agents I talk to. They all say that. They all go, I still make my dials every day. I prospect, I serve my clients. It's kind of just the way of the world, I guess. You just have to do the hard work. Well, what a great short lesson for us today. Everybody by the way, Carrie also she has, like she said earlier, she has people that she services that leave and go elsewhere. So she's always looking to expand her partnerships as well. So if you're an agent you think would be a good match, certainly reach out to her. Carrie McCormick Real Estate on social or on Instagram, and you can find her everywhere. Just Google her. She's super easy to find, has everything really accessible. And do check out her Instagram. It'll give you some great ideas of what a real luxury agent does with respect to showcasing properties. And it really does look just ultra professional and also really fun as well. So check that out. And on behalf of Carrie and myself, thank you for everyone. This is now our 7th year of doing the podcast. We have over 700 episodes, over 7 million downloads. So grateful to everyone. Please continue to tell people about the show. It helps us a lot. Also support our sponsors. They're the ones that help keep us doing this. And of course, thank you to our guest, Carrie, for coming on every single month so diligently for years and years and years. And we're grateful to you. All right, everyone, we will see you on the next episode. Thanks, Carrie.
Bye, guys.